Hi there! Today we're going to talk about saturated and unsaturated solution. You have learned from the previous topic the different examples of solutions, and air is one of those examples. Now, have you ever wondered why sometimes you feel humid because your sweat evaporates slowly? As the air gets closer to becoming saturated, the air becomes humid. Condensation, changing gas to liquid, and evaporation, changing liquid to gas, are going on all the time. But at some point, the air becomes saturated, meaning the rate of evaporation is the same as the rate of condensation. In other words, the air can't hold any more water vapor at that temperature and pressure. So, if the liquid water vapor molecules become water vapor, the same amount of water vapor must condense and return to liquid. Now you will find out in this lesson how much solute can be dissolved in a given amount of solvent, and find out the type of solution based on whether there is excess solute or not. In our previous lesson, we have also discussed that a solute is a substance that is dissolved in a solvent, and a solvent is the one that dissolves it. Now, there are substances that can be easily dissolved in a solvent, while others cannot be dissolved in just using water as a solvent. It has something to do with solubility. But what is solubility? The ability of a solute to dissolve in a solvent is what we call as solubility. It is measured in terms of the maximum amount of solute dissolved in a solvent. And here are the types of solution based on the amount of dissolved solute in a solvent: the unsaturated solution and saturated solution. But what is the difference between the properties of saturated and unsaturated solutions? Let's try to do this simple experiment to find out what these types of solution is all about. Put a spoon of sugar into the water and stir it until the sugar dissolves completely. In this case, we're able to make an unsaturated solution. An unsaturated solution is a type of solution containing less amount of solute in a given amount of solvent, leaving no traces of it. The solute completely dissolved in a solvent. But the question is, can we dissolve any amount of sugar in the water? Wonder what will happen if we keep adding more sugar to the solution. Now keep adding a spoon of sugar in the water and stir it. Notice that after a few spoons, sugar starts settling at the bottom of the glass, despite of the stirring that we do. There comes a stage at which no more sugar can be dissolved in a solution. This solution is now called a saturated solution. A saturated solution is a type of solution that contains the maximum amount of solute dissolved by a given amount of solvent. If you add more solute to the solvent, it will no longer dissolve because the solution has reached its saturation point. Saturation point is a point beyond which the substance will no longer dissolve in the solution. And the presence of an excess solid which can no longer dissolve is the evidence that the solution is saturated solution. Now, there are substances that can be easily dissolved in a solvent, while others cannot be dissolved in just using water as a solvent. It has something to do with solubility. Now, there are factors affecting solubility. Number 1, temperature. Solubility of the solute generally increases with the increase of the temperature of the solvent. Now, which dissolves faster? Coffee in hot water or in cold water? Yes, in hot water. But why? At higher temperature, collisions between solvent molecules and the solute are more frequent and of higher energy. This helps to disperse solute molecules among the solvent molecules and speed up the dissolving process. Number 2, the size of the particles. For a given amount of solute, smaller particles have a greater surface area. Now, which dissolves faster in water? Crushed salt or uncrushed salt? Yes, the answer is crushed salt. But why? The dissolution process occurs at the surface of the solute. It can be speeded up if the surface area of the solute is increased. Here in the crushed salt, molecules on the inside are exposed, enabling them to collide with the solvent molecules. The third factor is the nature of substance. Now, which dissolves faster in water? Salt or sugar? Note that salt and sugar is at the same amount, same size of particle, and same temperature of the solvent. The answer is sugar. But why? The fourth one is pressure. It affects the solubility of gases and liquids. Now try this activity at home. Write S if the given sample shows a saturated solution and U if unsaturated solution. Then for activity number 2, identify the factor affecting solubility based on the given situation. Assessment, answer the following